So, what do we have today with the weather? We have rain, we have grey sky, we have wind, although it is rather warm. We have 17 Celsius today. Here we go again. We are once again live, as live can be. It is English Addict with you once more, coming to you live from the birthplace of the English language. We all know where it is. Come on, Mr. Duncan, get on with it. We haven't got all day. We are back. We are here again. It's so nice to have your company once more. Hi everybody, this is Mr. Duncan in England. How are you today? Are you okay? I hope so. Are you happy? Do you have one of these on your face at the moment? If you don't, there is no problem, because I will try my best to put one of these under your nose over the next 60 minutes, because we are once again live across YouTube, and I hope you are having a good Sunday. And yes, we have a new month as well. Welcome to July. It's so nice to have you here. I hope you will be a good month. That is all I can say for now. I hope July will be a good month indeed, for myself and also for you as well. Wherever you are watching at the moment, it is lovely to have your company today. I did something last night. Now, Mr. Steve is someone who likes to experiment with things. Sometimes he will buy something new, different. Sometimes he will change things. By the way, that is what we are talking about today. Our big subject is change. Last night I decided to use something in the pizza that I made. Mr. Steve bought some very interesting organic garlic paste. There it is. I'm not sure how clearly you can see it, but this is a type of paste made completely, entirely from garlic. All I can say is it is amazing. However, I think I may have put too much of this on the pizza last night, because my stomach this morning was feeling a little uncomfortable. You always know when you've had too much garlic, because you can smell it. You can smell the garlic on your breath, also in your wee-wee as well. So I think maybe I put too much garlic in the pizza last night. But this stuff is quite amazing, of course. It is organic, because Mr. Steve is crazy about organic things. He loves organic food. So this particular thing is virtually 100% garlic, and it is amazing. However, I think maybe I did overdo the garlic. To overdo something. If you overdo something, it means you do it too much. It is possible to overdo anything, I suppose. So the word overdo simply means do too much. You do too much. For example, yesterday evening I overdid, or you might overdo something that you add to a certain recipe. Yesterday I did overdo the garlic. In other words, I put too much garlic on the pizza. So if you overdo something, of course, the past tense is overdid. I overdid it. To overdo. To overdo in the past is overdid. I overdid the garlic last night. I put too much in. However, of course, you overdo something. You do something too much. For example, you might overdo your exercise routine. Perhaps you do too much exercise. It is possible to overdo anything. Perhaps you were doing too much running, too much exercise, too much weightlifting. And perhaps you have pain, you have aching in your body because you've done too much exercise. You overdo something. Of course, you can overdo something you are cooking. Maybe you cook something for too long. You spoil the food because you have overdone it. You have cooked the food for too long, and now it is spoilt. To overdo something is to do too much of something. And yesterday evening, I put too much garlic in the pizza, and this morning my stomach was feeling a little uncomfortable, let's just say, because I overdid the garlic. I put too much garlic on the pizza. But at least I know next time. Next time I know that I don't have to put so much garlic on the pizza because it is very strong. The flavour is strong. So I have to be careful next time. Hello to the live chat. It's lovely to have you here. And yes, as I mentioned a few moments ago, we are now into a new month. July is here. For many people, it is a time for going away, having a vacation, going on holiday, taking a trip somewhere. So it is common in this country for people to take breaks. They will go on holiday. The live chat is busy already. Hello, live chat. It is nice to see you here. I wonder who was first. Why do I look? Because I'm pretty certain I know who was first. And I'm right. Congratulations, Vitas. What can I say? Except, well done. You are first on today's live chat. In second place, very close behind, Beatrice. Well done. Nice to see you here. We also have Flower. Hello, Flower. Espoir. It's nice to see you here as well. Alessandra is here. Nisa is here as well. I haven't seen you for a long time. Where have you been? Also, we have Khalid is here as well. Maruzio says, hello, English addicts. And I suppose you would describe me as an English addict because I am crazy about the English language. I love learning about English because there is always something new to learn about the English language. And one of the reasons is because English is always changing. It is a language that is always changing in some way. With every new generation that comes along, English is always changed in some way with every new generation that comes along. So I would say that change is something that happens quite often in the English language, and it is today's subject. We are talking about change. Zudzika is here as well. Who else is here? Sarosh is here as well. Thank you very much. Guri the banker is here, who says, "Help me, sir. How can I help you? How can I help you?" Hopefully, with your English. I hope so, anyway. Also, we have Palmyra, and Claudia is here as well. We have lots of familiar faces and, of course, some new names as well. If it is your first time on the live chat, please tell me. Please say, "Mr. Duncan, it's my first time on the live chat," and I will give you a special hello. I always think this time of year is a very strange period because we are halfway through the year, but I always feel as if the second part of the year, the second half of the year, goes by very quickly. And one of the things that always signifies or shows that the year is suddenly going to go by very quickly. For me, it is always this time of year because a certain sporting event begins. So we are now 1 week into this particular sporting event. And I always feel as soon as this thing occurs, the rest of the year goes by very quickly. Of course, I am talking about tennis. Or, should I say, tennis at Wimbledon. Yes, as I mentioned, Wimbledon is going strongly. The first week of tennis at Wimbledon has taken place. Although today the weather is bad, a lot of rain has been falling and spoiling lots of things. But we don't have to worry about the weather. Don't worry about the weather because here in the studio it is lovely and dry. English Addict is with you today. I hope you are having a good day. Can I say hello to Nizreen, who says, "It is my first time on your live session." Hello Nizreen, it's nice to see you here today. Who else is here for the first time? I think we also have Patrick as well. Patrick Chezeko or Chezetto. I hope I pronounced your name right. Who else is here as well for the first time? I'm trying to see if we have any new viewers watching. It would be lovely. And also Sarosh as well. Sarosh Khan. Hello to you and thank you for joining me today. I hope you will enjoy the experience of learning English live. So this is not recorded unless of course you are watching the recording. So we are live right now and it is great to have your company here today. as you know, I live in a very small village. Well, I suppose you would describe it as a town, but it is a very small town. The place I live in is called Much Wenlock, and each month we have a newspaper published in this area. I will show you just to prove it. So this is the Wenlock Herald. It is our local newspaper for this particular area. But the big news this month in the area is our new organ. We have a new organ here in Much Wenlock. There it is. Isn't that lovely? And apparently it sounds amazing. So Much Wenlock Parish Council has a new organ combining both traditional and state-of-the-art organ building techniques. Oh, wow. The new organ was built by Cotswold Organs, and it consists of real wind-blown pipes. If you know anything about organs, you will know that they operate or they work using air that is forced through pipes, and each pipe makes a certain note. So this particular organ is the new organ that's now in the local church here in Much Wenlock, and it's rather lovely. I might go next weekend and have a look at it. I might even take some photographs. I have to say, I love the sound of an organ, a church organ. There is something amazing about the sound of an organ when it is played well. So that is the local news. The big story at the moment here in Much Wenlock is the new organ that we now have. Hello to How. Xin Chao, Mr. Duncan. Xin Chao, of course, is Vietnamese for hello. So a big Xin Chao to you as well. Thank you very much for joining me today. It's nice to see you here. Christina. I know, Christina, you are very busy. You are normally travelling to a place or from a place. So I'm just wondering today, which one is it? Are you going to a place or are you coming back from a place? I really need a holiday. I have to say, I do need a holiday. I hope that I can have some sort of holiday over the next few weeks. It would be ever so nice. It is lovely to see you here today. Thank you very much for joining me. Claudia is making ravioli today. Now that, to me, I always think of Italy. So whenever I think of ravioli, I always think of Italian food because it's normally made with pasta. But it would appear that Claudia is making it with spinach. I have to say that sounds rather intriguing, and I am just a little bit jealous that I can't try some myself. Hello to Christina again, who's giving me a big wave. Hello, Christina. It is nice to see you today. Thank you very much for joining me. We are looking at an interesting subject today. We are going to look at the subject of change. We often feel, I don't know about you, but we often feel, or I feel sometimes, that change comes very quickly, sometimes too fast. I would say living in the present time that we are in, I would say that change often comes almost too fast. So that is the subject we are looking at today. We are looking at the way in which things change. Christina says it's very interesting that you have a newspaper in your local area. It is a normal thing to have a local publication, a local newspaper, something that is published locally. So I will show you again. This particular publication is our local parish newspaper. When we say parish, we mean the local community, that particular area. And there is lots of things in our local paper, lots of information, lots of news, lots of events, lots of advertisements. So this particular publication, this newspaper, is very good for local businesses because it also gives a chance for the local businesses to be seen as well in the area. So I would say that this is good for many reasons. It is good to have local information that is published regularly. So I think it is a very good idea. Because, of course, it also keeps the community together. It keeps everyone in touch with what is happening in the area. So I think it is a lovely idea. Hello, Rosa. Rosa is here as well. Hello, Rosa. Nice to see you on the live chat. Oh, I've just noticed. He is here. He's here on the live chat, of course. It is the one, the only, Luis Mendez is here today. Hello, Luis. Nice to see you here as well. Christina says, do you remember we were in Notre Dame and we were listening to the organ? Yes. When we were in Paris just over 1 month ago, we were sitting in Notre Dame Cathedral and they were having a small service in there and they were playing the organ. The sound was incredible. There is something amazing about the sound of a church organ. It is a very grand, imposing sound. It is something you can't ignore or avoid. It is the most amazing sound. So I have to say, yes, I do have a liking for organ music. My uncle Peter had an organ, and we would go around to his house on a Sunday afternoon sometimes, and we would watch him play his organ. He would sit in the corner of the room, and we would be entertained by his organ playing. Marianne is here. Oh, here we go. This is the big question. I was waiting for this question, and here it is. Mr. Duncan, where is Mr. Steve? Now, I can assure you, Mr. Steve is still around. Right now, he's in the garden, working, keeping his garden nice and neat, even though we've had a lot of rain today. And many parts of the garden have become dry. We've had a lot of hot weather. And we have more hot weather coming this weekend. So the weekend that is coming will also be hot as well. So I think a lot of people are going to be complaining about the weather next week. But Steve is okay. He's not here at the moment. He is taking a break from the live streams. Just a small change for a short period of time. And, of course, I should mention that Steve has been very busy as well. He has been appearing in a show. Would you like to see him? There he is. There is Mr. Steve. You might not recognise him, but there he is on the stage in a show called The Sorcerer, which is a famous operetta by Gilbert and Sullivan. In fact, I think it is one of their first operettas. So there is Mr. Steve wearing the red jacket and the rather large moustache. That is Mr. Steve. So this is a rather interesting operetta about two people who fall in love, but they also decide that they want people in the village, the local village, to also fall in love. So they get the local sorcerer to create a magic potion to make everyone fall in love. So that's what Mr. Steve has been doing over the past few weeks. He's been in a show called The Sorcerer, and the last performance was actually yesterday. The final performance was yesterday. But, as I just mentioned, Steve is also taking a break from the live stream. Now, it is nothing serious. Nothing bad has happened. It is just the fact that Steve has a lot of things to do at the moment. And one of the things he's very worried about is his garden, because there are many, many problems in the garden. Mr. Steve's grass, his lovely lawn, has turned brown. All I can say is Steve is very concerned about his lawn at the moment. Beatrice says, wow, he looks wonderful. We have a good actor in our English family. Yes, it was rather interesting. Although Steve said he did not like the moustache. Now, I thought it looked really good, but Steve didn't like it. He said it made him look ridiculous. But I thought it looked all right anyway. So that is Mr. Steve, for those wondering who he is. Mr. Steve is often joining me here on the live chat, but today he's not here. He is taking a short break away from this. English Addict is with you today. It is myself, Mr. Duncan, by the way. Hello there. I hope you are having a good Sunday. Coming up in a few moments, we are talking about today's big subject, which is change. How do you feel about change? Do you like change, or do you dislike it? We will be talking about that in a few moments from now.
I'm a big boy now.
English Addict is with you. It is Sunday. I hope you are having a good day. We are here live. Very live today. We have an interesting subject to talk about. It is one that is often discussed by people. We talk about this particular subject quite often, especially nowadays. These days, it would appear that more and more people are talking about this particular subject. Today, we are going to look at the subject of change. Change is something that you might describe as constant. Sometimes change can be very obvious. Sometimes change can be gradual, subtle. It happens slowly over time, and that is what we are looking at today. First of all, the word change relates to any alteration or transition from one state to another. We often talk about change when one thing changes in a certain way, a certain type of change takes place. The state of something is its shape. So when we talk about the state of something, we mean its appearance, the way it appears, the way it looks, the state that it is in. The state of something is its shape, nature, or appearance. So whenever we talk about the state of something, we just mean the way it appears or its condition. Change can come suddenly or without warning. So when we say that something happens suddenly, we can say it happens without warning. Something happens suddenly. Change can occur suddenly without warning. Change can also occur gradually. Gradually. Something happens slowly over time. So when we use the word gradual, we are saying slowly, often without being noticed. Something gradually happens. It happens slowly over a long period of time. So it is possible for change to occur quickly, suddenly, or slowly, gradually, over time. Sometimes hundreds, thousands, or even millions of years. Gradual change can be many things. So here are some examples. You might have change in climate. The temperature might go up, it might drop, it might become cold, it might become hot. Change in climate. It can happen over time. It can happen quickly. You might have 2 days that are completely different from each other. especially if you live in the UK. The weather here can change quite quickly. You might also have a change in appearance. A person might suddenly change their appearance. A thing might suddenly change its appearance. The way it looks might change suddenly or slowly over time. We might also have a change in behaviour, the way a person behaves, their character. And I suppose this is something that's become very popular over recent times. A lot of people have become very aware of the way they behave in their lives, their attitude towards things around them. So a lot of people now have become more aware of their own behaviour. If you look on YouTube, there are many people now giving advice to people how to change their behaviour. That might be their attitude towards things around them. So you can have change in behaviour. We can also have change in nature. One of the things I love about living in this country is the way in which the environment changes as the seasons come and go. So here in this country, the seasons are very different from each other. So we can see change occur in nature every year. As spring arrives and all of the flowers open and the colour appears, and then we go into summer when the weather becomes hot and quite often dry, with occasional rain, of course. And then, of course, we go into autumn, and then the leaves fall from the trees, the days become shorter, the nights become longer, and then we enter into winter, and then everything becomes cold, gloomy, dark, and not very happy, really. A lot of people don't like winter because it makes them unhappy. They feel genuinely unhappy because of winter. So I would say living in this country, and many people around the world also experience the same thing with their weather conditions. As the seasons change, the weather changes. Even the scenery around them changes as well. So everything is changing in nature. Some countries, of course, don't see any changes at all in their nature. Everything stays the same all through the year. It stays quite hot. Overall, change can be positive or negative. Sometimes change can be beneficial. It can be good. Sometimes change can be adverse, detrimental, or bad. So you can see here we are using some interesting words today. Something that is beneficial is something helpful, something that can give you help. It can help you to do something. It is beneficial. It is good. Change can also be adverse, detrimental, bad. So I suppose it is fair to say that change is not always a good thing. Sometimes it can be bad. Many people dislike change. I don't know about you, but I think in this modern age that we live in, I think a lot of people these days complain about change because everything seems to change all the time at a very rapid pace. So many people dislike change. They will often resist or push back against change. We sometimes resist change in our lives for various reasons. You might ask why. Why do people dislike change? Maybe there are some definite reasons why people dislike change. Change is often seen as disruptive. Something that is disruptive creates problems, difficulty, annoyance. So, generally speaking, change can be very annoying. A disruptive thing will disturb the normal flow. So something that is disruptive is causing problems. People like routine and following a daily plan. So I think it is normal for most of us, and I'm sure you would agree with me, that many people enjoy having a routine, something that they do at a certain time or a certain place. So I think we all like it. I like routine, not too much routine, because too much routine can also be boring. So maybe there is a time when change is a good thing, but not too much change. People don't like change. People like to have some sort of routine and some sort of daily plan. They enjoy familiarity. When we talk about familiarity, we are talking about things you feel comfortable with, something you feel comfortable with, something familiar. We like it. It makes us feel comfortable. So I would imagine, and I think it is true, that a lot of people don't like change because it disrupts their life, their routine, their plans. The way something has been for a long time, such as tradition. So we might say that something that has been going on for a long time, something you've been doing for many years in a certain way, is tradition. It is your own personal tradition. Of course, we can also use the word tradition to mean something that is being done through the generations. As each generation comes and goes, that particular thing is always done in the same way. We describe it as a tradition. This is the way it's always been. This is something a person might say if they are resisting change. Maybe they prefer to have a certain thing done in a certain way. They don't want change. This is the way it's always been. Change is often viewed with fear or a sense of distrust. We often feel uncomfortable with change, especially if it is something we've been doing for a long time. If I do something every day at a certain time, I might find if it changes, I will become uncomfortable about it. I think as we get older as well, we often dislike change more and more. We can also view change as a good thing if it is done by choice. So of course it is possible for choice to be done willingly. So maybe you want to have a change. Maybe you decide that you want to change something in your life. Maybe you want to change your job. Perhaps you want to change your general life. Maybe you want to learn a new skill or a new hobby. That is a type of change that you choose. You choose that change. It is your choice. We often say that a change is as good as a rest. Sometimes just having a change in your life can be a good thing, and that's one of the reasons why we enjoy going on holiday or taking a trip to a different place. Because having a change in your life can be a good thing. It is refreshing. It makes you feel new. A change is as good as a rest. Doing something in a different way, going to a different place. It is a change. A welcome change is one that is seen as positive. So you might describe something as a welcome change, something that has changed that you are pleased about. I'm about to sneeze. I hope you enjoyed that. It's a bit dusty in my studio because I've been cleaning around in my studio. Just a moment. Did you enjoy that? That sneeze has been coming along for a long time. I've been holding that sneeze back for a very long time. So yesterday I decided to clean my studio for a change. Unfortunately, my studio is now rather dusty, to say the least. So quite often a welcome change is a type of change that is wanted or needed. It is something that you choose to do. Something that has been done or has occurred for a long time might undergo changes. Something that has been done or something established for a long period of time. Maybe a certain way of doing something that you've been doing for a long, long time in one particular way. Something that has been done or has occurred for a long time might undergo changes. To undergo something is to have that thing done. You undergo something. Something is refreshed or done differently. An update can be described as a type of change. We often talk about updates with various things, perhaps the news, the latest news. Maybe there is an event taking place and you want to know what the latest news is about it. We often describe that as an update, something that comes along, some new information. An update. An update is a type of change. Maybe you have a certain computer device or a mobile device. Quite often it will have to have some sort of update. A change has to be carried out with that particular device. We often describe it as an update. It is also a type of change. An update to your computer system, for example. Quite often, especially these days, it would appear that your computer always has to have some sort of update. Maybe it's your cell phone, your tablet device, or maybe your PC. A lot of things have to be updated. Here's another one. As a slang term, we might use the phrase facelift. By the way, something might be renewed or refurbished as well. Something that is new or renewed is made new again. Refurbish means to make good again. So perhaps an old building has to be refurbished. You change everything inside because it's become old and worn. And of course, as a slang term, we might use the phrase facelift. Now, this does not relate to having your face lifted with plastic surgery. It is something completely different. So this general phrase means something is being changed in a certain way. There are many examples. For example, we might say, we are giving our brand a facelift. We are changing the appearance of our brand or our company. We are changing the design. So you give it a facelift. You are changing something because you want it to look fresh, new, different, and quite possibly more exciting than it did before. To freshen up the appearance of something, a cosmetic change. So the word cosmetic refers to appearance of the face, or maybe the general appearance of something. A building can have a facelift if you are changing the appearance of it. So when we use the word facelift, we're not always referring to our own face or any changes that we are making to our face. It can also be used for anything if you are changing the appearance of it. To change the general look of a certain thing, you give it a facelift. It is being used figuratively. Change can be viewed, it can be sensed, or it can be decided. So there are many different ways of using the word change in our daily lives. Change can be viewed. You can actually see change taking place. It is something you sense. It can be decided as well. Perhaps you decide to make a change in your life. Maybe you are eating too much food, so you decide to change your eating habits. You eat less. That is the change that you are making. So that particular type of change has been decided by you. You choose to change that thing. You might sense change coming. We often say that a change is coming. Maybe there is something that is about to happen, and you know it is about to happen. Maybe a change in the weather. Maybe a change in the way your country is run. A change of government, for example. We might say that there is a change in the air. That means you can sense that some sort of change is coming. Some change is occurring. It is coming. There is a change in the air. You can sense that feeling. We might, of course, decide that it is time for change. Quite often you will hear this said by politicians, quite often during elections. It is not unusual for people to say it is time for change. Something must be changed. So you can decide. It is possible for a person to make changes, and it is their choice, their own personal choice. Change is often forced upon people. So sometimes you might find that you have no choice. You have to accept change. There are many reasons why that might happen. It might happen at work. Perhaps there is some change that takes place in your company and it will affect you directly. You have no choice. Perhaps the hours that you work each week is reduced, meaning you will earn less money from your job. It might be a change that happens and you have no choice. You have to accept that particular type of change. Perhaps in government, the people running the country might make some sort of change and it will change your life. You have no choice about it. Change might also be decided by the population. The population might decide to make changes. Democratic change is the process of voting for something to be altered. So sometimes in a country we might be given the opportunity to decide what happens next. Something concerning your own future or the future of your country. Quite often there is some sort of vote that will take place. We had a big vote way back in 2016, 9 years ago. I'm sure you know what I'm referring to. I have a feeling you do. It is normal to resist change. It is quite normal for all of us to resist change. We don't want it because we've been doing the same thing for a long period of time. We've been doing it for many, many weeks, months, years. Maybe you've been doing it for all of your life. You don't want to stop. You resist change. We often dislike changing the status quo. The status quo refers to that particular state, the state in which you are doing something. We often describe it as the status quo. And that's where it comes from, the state in which something is happening, the way it is occurring. We often refer to it as the status quo. As we grow older, change becomes more confusing. Even I can relate to this. Because of my work, because of the type of work I do, quite often things change. Maybe my computer has an update and things are different. The operating system might change. Suddenly I have to learn all of these new things. I have no choice. So as we grow older, change becomes more confusing. The other reason, of course, is because change happens more often, more frequently. So I think it is fair to say that these days change does happen more frequently. It happens more often. It doesn't mean that being older is bad, because we are all getting older. We have no choice about that. But sometimes change can be confusing. There is another use of the word change. Change is also used as a way of describing carried coins. Coins that you carry around with you, maybe in your pocket or in your wallet. You have change. Coins carried in the pocket are referred to as change. You have change. You have coins. So we often refer to coins that we carry in our pocket as change. We sometimes refer to it as loose change. Loose change. The coins that you have in your pocket. Something changing over time is a slow process. As I said earlier, we use the word gradual to describe a change that is happening slowly. Something happens over a long period of time. It happens gradually. It happens slowly. For example, the aging process is a slow thing. Aging is a slow process of change. It happens gradually. I'm always surprised when I look at some of my old video lessons, and I can see that I've changed over the years. Over the past 19 years that I've been here on YouTube, I can definitely see that I've changed. From my very early lessons way back in 2006 compared with the ones that I do now, I look different. I look older. But how? How did that happen? How does that change take place? It takes place gradually, slowly, over time. It is something that happens over a long period. Change is often referred to as progress. Now, I'm sure a lot of people will disagree with this. I think a lot of people will definitely disagree. They will say, Mr. Duncan, you are wrong. Most change is not progress. Normally, it makes life harder. Sometimes it does happen. To move forward is change. To update something, you change that thing by refreshing it, making it up to date. Update. Evolve. Now there is an interesting word. Something can evolve. Anything can evolve. Music, poetry, maybe a certain type of writing, a certain style of storytelling can evolve. Something slowly grows or changes over time. It develops. To amend is to change. You amend something. You change that thing. Correct. You correct something. You make some changes. Something that is wrong, something that you feel is not suitable, you amend that thing. You change it. You might amend something that you've written down on a piece of paper. You make changes because you don't like it. You don't like the way it appears. You might add something. You might subtract or take something away. Those are both types of change. To give and to take normally results in some type of change taking place. Something is not the same as it was before. So when we talk about change, quite often we are talking about one thing becoming something else. A type of alteration, transition, change. You might go through a period. Now, this is life, by the way. We are talking about life now. You might go through a period of change when many things happen at once. And sometimes life is like that. Sometimes life comes at you very fast. And there are many things you have to adapt or change your way towards. Things that happen in life. Sometimes life can come at you very fast. Some people go through life with very few changes occurring. There are lucky people, some very lucky people, who go through life without having too many difficulties or too many changes in their life. Change is something that is often promised. We often talk about politicians. Maybe if a politician wants you to vote for them, they will make promises. Quite often those promises will be changes that they want to make. There are some phrases that use change as well. We can say that a change is as good as a rest. As we mentioned earlier, something you do differently can be refreshing. It can make you feel good, having a change in your life. Sometimes it is good to have a different experience from the usual thing. The thing you normally do is the usual. Something different is a change. And we often say that you cannot hold back change. It is inevitable. Quite often, change is inevitable and cannot be stopped. Something inevitable is something you can't stop. You can't stop that thing. Certain types of change cannot be stopped. You have no choice. You have to accept those changes. And finally, we have the phrase, a very interesting phrase, if it isn't broken, don't try to fix it. If it isn't broken, don't fix it. This is a very interesting phrase. Don't change something just because you can. Do not make needless changes. And this happens quite often, especially these days. I've noticed a lot of people make changes that they don't need to make. If it isn't broken, don't fix it. Something that works perfectly okay, something that is good, satisfying, something that works perfectly, does not have to be changed. Don't fix it if it isn't broken. It does happen a lot, and I don't like that. I think that is one of my big complaints about living in this age. Quite often people will change things even though they don't need to change them. Sometimes we do it as well. Sometimes we buy new things. We like to have something new. So we throw something away, even though it works perfectly. There's nothing wrong with it. But you feel as if you want to have something new. Don't change it. Don't try to fix it if it isn't broken. Keep it. Sometimes change can be a bad thing. It can be wasteful. I think so anyway. Maybe you disagree. That is today's subject. I have to say it is a very big subject but it is something that affects all of us in our lives, including me. There is always something waiting around the corner, something that you can't see, maybe a certain type of change, something you will have to adapt. You will have to change your own attitude towards that thing. It is part of that crazy thing we call life. That is almost it from me for today. I've been with you for 1 hour and 15 minutes. It's been a long one today. I hope you've enjoyed today's live stream, and I will of course be back with you next Sunday. Next Sunday I'm with you live from 2 p.m. UK time, and of course during the week we have new lessons. There will be some new lessons on my YouTube channel during the week. Don't forget to look out for them. And in case you haven't, if you haven't subscribed, then please subscribe to my YouTube channel, and then you will never miss any of my English lessons or my live streams. You won't miss anything at all. Thank you very much for your company. Thank you for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed today's live stream. It's been interesting. I did enjoy the part where I sneezed. I think that might be the best moment from today's live stream, is the moment when I started sneezing. Very annoying. Thank you very much for joining me. See you next Sunday. I will be live next week. And of course, I hope you have a good week as well. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Have a good week. Don't forget to look out for my new lessons. Don't forget to like and subscribe as well. This is Mr. Duncan in the birthplace of the English language, saying thanks for watching. See you later. Take care of yourselves. And of course, until the next time we meet here, you know what's coming next. Yes, you do. It is time to say goodbye. Ta-ta for now.